Further to the release of our Beyond Recruitment Economic and Labour Report in July, and as part of our Beyond Recruitment Leadership Series, we're sitting down with Shamubeel Eaqub, one of New Zealand's leading economists, to talk about the new government's policies and the impact that these will have on employers, employees, and employment practices as a whole. Shamubeel, thank you for joining us. I was interested in getting your insights and thoughts around the changes in terms of minimum wage, because we know that that's one of the things in terms of the new policy that is most certainly changing. And I guess, what impact is that going to have on employers? What impact is that going to have on employees?
So the minimum wage that's coming through, the increase, is similar to what we had around 2007, so the 3 years to 2007. So we've been here before. The biggest impact is going to be around industries that employ a lot of people with minimum wage people. So hospitality, retail, aged care, healthcare. In those areas, they are going to see a significant increase in costs over the course of the next 3 years. I think the most important thing for businesses is to ensure that they have a good strategy to be able to raise prices, to pass on costs, or to manage the labor force effectively between now and then. What we saw in the last time when we had the big increase in minimum wages was there wasn't a big impact on employment, but some smaller outfits reduced their number of hours because that was the only way they were able to manage costs.
Yeah. And I guess, will that impact the economy in general?
Look, the minimum wage is actually a very small part of the labour market. It's only around 3% of all employed people that get the minimum wage. So even a big increase there is not going to have a huge ripple effect through the entire economy. Much more important is what's happening within individual sectors. For example, the massive skill shortages that we're seeing in the construction industry, that will have a much bigger impact and much more dominating effect than what we're seeing in changes in the minimum wage.
Is there any specific advice that you have for employers with regards to that minimum wage?
Yeah, so employers who have lots of minimum wage employees, they need to plan very effectively for the next 3 years, because we know these increases in costs are coming. And there are two ways of doing it. One is to manage costs elsewhere in the business, or to pass on some of these costs. I think that will be the easiest thing to do, because we've lived in a very low inflation environment for the last few years, and there will be a good justification for raising prices because of the minimum wage increases.
Or in fact, it'll spur automation and bring it forward, won't it?
The cost of capital is quite high. In comparison, the minimum wage is still very low. So New Zealand is still quite behind adopting automation and other things, because relatively speaking, our cost of labour is low. Even with the increases in minimum wages, I don't think it'll be enough to catalyse that big shift away from employing low-wage employees.
Thank you, Shamubeel. Appreciate your insights.